Hi everyone, good evening. We are coming to the end of the molecular inheritance of class 12th syllabus. So this today and tomorrow when we do, we'll be completing the chapter on molecular inheritance. Today we will be just having a brief introductory part of talk or understanding on what's called DNA fingerprinting. I'll repeat that word, DNA fingerprinting. This is also known by different names. It is also known as DNA profiling. It's also called DNA testing, DNA analysis, genetic profiling. It may be identification of the sequences, genetic sequences, and genetic fingerprinting. So people and the laboratories use different names almost for the same technique. What do we mean by DNA fingerprinting? We know, most of us know about the fingerprints. When we think of fingerprints of the human beings, we know very well it will not match. Two individuals' fingerprints will not match. Though there are crores of people in the world, still it does not match. Retina will not match, except in the identical twins, that is, twins produced by monozygotic twins. That means one zygote divides into two and then they become twins. Except that variation is there in the human beings. Now similarly, the most minutest part that is present in our cells inside the body, either in the body cells, which may be skin cell, it may be blood cell, it may be a cell from the intestine, or any part of the body cells if you take, which contains nucleus, that will have or even the material. It may not even be the nucleus itself, it may be even the material. Hair, for example, is one thing. Red blood cells do not contain nucleus. So even if we take those materials, that is, it's a technique. DNA fingerprinting is a technique used by most laboratories, especially in the medical laboratories, in the forensic laboratories, in the crime laboratories, where they would like to identify the individuals concerned using the somatic cells or body cells like blood. As I told you earlier, it may be saliva, it may be hair, it may be even cells from the dead bodies. If a soldier is dead in a warfare and if they does not have any identification, or if somebody dies in the accident, if they do not have any identification, then they will be able to take the DNA of that material, of that person, and then they compare it with the known persons, and that is the DNA fingerprint technique. The technique part is there. We will try to look into tomorrow's session. What we would like to today will be some more expansion of the topic called DNA fingerprinting. First, it was described by Jacob Jeffries in 1984 and 85. At that time, he described the DNA fingerprinting activity. Then Lalji Singh in India is known as the father of the DNA fingerprinting. He also contributed much to this particular area of the DNA fingerprinting. What is that we do? How do we do this one? If you know a little thing about the DNA, we shall see. You know, we have a human genome has the set of genes present in the human chromosomes, which we told you even the last class, which you know already. We have 23 pairs of chromosomes, of which 22 are autosomes and one is called the sex chromosome. We will not go to details on that. Now these chromosomes will contain the DNA. DNA is a very, very long sequence. The size of that will be told in terms of nanometers. It will be very, very long one. And nearly 97% of the DNA, 97% of the total genome present in a cell will not code for any proteins. That part is called non-coding part. And in this non-coding part, we find what are called satellite DNA. What is this meaning of satellite DNA? Only it says that the DNA will have repeated sequence of nucleotide base pairs. For example, if you take for example, here I have shown you CG, 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 CG1 I have shown, and the corresponding will be GC, 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 like that. That kind of repetition is called tandem, one after another. After C you get G, again you get C, again you get G, or you get AT and then again AT, again AT, like that. You will not get ATGC like that. So only two of them, either CG or AT, that's the rich area, they will be repeated. They will come one after another one. It's called tandem. One after another is called tandem. So we take the DNA from a source, from any person where you want to identify something. Supposing there is a crime scene and they want to find out who is the person who has been killed and also who is the person who committed the crime. Both can be found out, they can be found out. So they will take a sample of the DNA. How they take it? They scrap the material and then treatment goes on. Tomorrow we will talk about it. So that DNA will be treated and they get the DNA fragments they get DNA fragments from that. So from the bulk DNA, they use the biological cutting scissors, what is called the there are nucleases and other types of enzymes which can cut this DNA into fragments. They take the enzyme and that enzyme will cut the DNA into fragments. And which type of DNA they will use? They will use the DNA, what's called the satellite DNA. When I said satellite DNA, the DNA especially seen at telomeres or at the centromere region. So you know this is a chromosome. Chromosome will have, this is a chromosome about to divide. It has got a centromere attached and you got here the two chromatids and it will contain genes and they are called alleles. One here, they are the same thing. This is another chromosome. These are the one pair of chromosome. So the corresponding to this, there will be one more gene here. They are called allelic pairs and they show variations between the individuals. If you take chromosome number 1 and check chromosome number 1 of somebody, that will be different. So that kind of a thing is called polymorphism. You will check up in the tomorrow's class. So what we do is, so they take the DNA sample and they treat with chemicals and they centrifuge it. And when they centrifuge it, they do it by means what a technique called density gradient centrifuging. and they get the DNA gets separated. Different density DNA will get separated. And then they will use the thing called electrophoresis, in which they use a kind of a gel, and that gel will work like a filter, and we get then it is transferred to something else, then that will become bands. That means the DNA is analyzed for using two different types of satellite DNA. When I say satellite DNA, I told you, satellite DNA simply means highly repetitive type of DNA where we have the base pairs will be highly repetitive in nature. Highly repetitive in nature. And it is said that 97% of the genome has highly repetitive structures. Now this repetitive structure is known as satellite DNA. In that there are two types of satellite DNAs have been noticed. One is called mini satellites and other is called microsatellites. So these two names are given based upon the number of the sequences and repeats these segments are. Some DNA segments, for example, mini satellite segments, they have 10 to 60 base pairs. That means this stretch, if you take up this one here I have shown you 1, 2, 3, there are 12 base pairs here, 12 base pairs here, all of them are CG, 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 CG. So this is 10 to 12. The other one, and such repeat, this is a kind of a flank, this will have a gene maybe, this gene may code for some amino acid or some polypeptide chain, this gene. And so between the genes, you have the repeated sequences. If it is more than 10 repeat, it's called mini satellite, and such repeats will be 10 to 1000 repeats in a chromosome. So in a segment, if the repeats of that unit will be more than 10 and up to 1000 repeat units, it's called VNTRS, that is short form. If you expand that, it is variable number of tandem repeats. When you say variable number of tandem repeats, means this number, these sequences, they may change the number. It may be in one, it may be 12, it may be another 10, it may be another 8, like that. Those repeat structure will change, but the sequence of repeat will be the same thing. If it contains CG, 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 it continues like that. In another one is called STR. STR refers to short tandem repeats. In the short tandem repeats, only 1 to 10 base pairs will be there. So in this sequence, it may be here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases are there. You will have the corresponding one also there, base pair, it will be there. And these two are the constant. They will not change. They may have a different sequential types. They may contain like cytosine, guanine, thymine, adenosine, like that. It may be there. So they are different. But this stretch will show tandem repeats. Tandem repeat means A, T, A, T, A, T, A, T. Or it may be C, G, C, G, C, G. It will not be A, T, C, G, A. It will not be there like that. So A, T rich or CG rich areas will form the satellite DNA. So now let us just have a pause here and then say what is the satellite DNA. Satellite DNA refers to the DNA segment where we have two types of repeating DNA segments. One is called the variable number of tandem repeat sequence or short tandem repeats. So such repeated sequences, if it is in tandem of cytosine and guanine, thymine and adenine rich areas, and that type of is called the satellite DNA. Please remember, satellite DNA is a non-coding DNA. It does not code, and that will be nearly 97% in our genome. Only 3% of the genome will code for the polypeptide chains. And then we have here what they do, they take the fragments which contain VNTRS or STRS, that is mini or microsatellites, and they analyze for the base sequences. So they will analyze the base sequences either for VNTRS or for STR, and by means of different techniques we will find out tomorrow, but the basic idea you can understand is called the electrophoresis. And then what happens is there are certain areas I told you, these highly repetitive structures are present mostly in the telomeres of the end region of the chromosome, and the central region of the chromosome, they have much more denser coiling where highly repetitive sequences are seen. That means satellite DNA should be seen in those areas. And then you remember that this was first identified and given to the world, the concept of the DNA fingerprinting by Jacob Jeffries in 1984 and 85, and then in India Lalji Singh did a lot of work on that. So we will try to start by this type, and then we say that finally how do they identify? They identify by the banding of the DNA differs from individual to individual. That means when they subject the DNA material into different types of activities, finally they will put it into a gel, and that will give bands, and those bands will be different patterns for different individuals, even for different people. So if there are 100,000 people in one place, if you test them, there will be differences in each one of the person, and that is what the DNA fingerprinting will give us. So we will stop here. I will try to repeat once again. DNA fingerprinting is a technique employed in various areas like crime detection, or maybe paternal identification, like that, and they use the fragments of DNA, taking the DNA from either blood, saliva, hair, or even from the tissues of the dead person they take, or even some area where sweat is fallen. That is enough. A little thing is enough to do, and they do 5 or 6 steps, and within 6 to 7 steps they will be able to get the DNA bands, and these bands will show the differences, and no two individuals have the same banding type. That means the bands will, if they are related, supposing if you take my DNA and if I compare it with my daughter's DNA, maybe there may be some areas on some allelic or some loci that may be present. But if I take my DNA and my wife's DNA and fingerprinting, they will be very different. So this is a thing we will end up today here. Tomorrow we shall take up how the DNA fingerprinting techniques are there, and little more details about the DNA fingerprinting activity. We will take up with some figures tomorrow. Thank you.